Good morning, afternoon, or evening. How y'all doing today? Welcome back to Mr. Morrow's Algebra 2 class. Today, we are going to continue with rational number operations. In particular, we're going to work with decimals today. Decimals and fractions, remember, are basically just different forms of writing the same number, but their rules for addition and subtraction, multiplication and division are different. So you must know the fraction rules and the decimal rules, and you must know how to sometimes combine them. Sometimes they'll ask you to add a fraction with a decimal. Well, you know how to convert a fraction to a decimal, you divide, or you can convert a decimal to a fraction by reading the fraction correctly and then rounding, okay? But today we're going to focus on decimals. And to add decimals, add or subtract decimals, very simple. Line up the decimals, literally, okay? P.S. Remember that whole numbers have a decimal at the end of the number. For example, 2 really equals 2.0. So you want to line up the decimals. Why do I say that whole thing with the whole number? A lot of times people will take, for example, they'll see 12 plus whatever, 4.2. And sometimes people will forget that there's a decimal at the end of 12. So I've seen this happen. They'll go, oh, 4.2 and 12, and they'll add. And that is completely wrong. So please be careful with that. Anytime you have a whole number, there is a decimal at the end of it. So this would be 12.0 plus 4.2. You just line up the decimals, okay? So that's the first step, pretty simple. And then second step, add or subtract is normal, and just drop down the decimal, okay? So add and subtract is normal, and drop down the decimal. You don't move it around, you don't go left or right on it, you literally just bring it down. So you just literally bring it down. That's my decimal. 0 plus 2 is 2. We got a 6 and a 1, so that'd be 16.2. Just line up the decimals, add or subtract as normal, and literally drop down the decimal. It's that simple. Okay? And I know what you're thinking, oh, this is so silly, this is boring. Trust me, these are the things that make you a better or worse math student. If you know how to add, subtract, multiply, divide integers, fractions, decimals, everything else makes a lot more sense. So, okay, so let's do this. So I've got here 3.26 plus 10.25. I'm going to line up the decimal. So I've got the 10 here. I got the 0.25 here. If it makes your life easier, if it makes you see this better, put a 0 right under the 6. So you know that there is a value there. It's a value of 0. And now we're literally just going to add and drop down the decimal. So I've got 6. 5 and 5 is 10. Carry the 1. 4 plus 1 is 5. Carry that decimal down. 3 plus 0 is 3. And then we got a 1. And that's it. 13 and 506 thousandths. Remember, this is 13 and 0.506. But remember when we were talking about going from decimal to fraction, you have to know how to read these decimals correctly. So I want to get you in the habit of reading decimals correctly. That's 13 and 506 thousandths, okay? Next, I've got 11.235 minus 6.598. Please remember that the negative operation signs still work with decimals. So in this case, the larger number was already in front, so we're going to subtract the smaller number. If it was 6.598 minus 11.235, then I'd have to subtract as normal and keep the sign of largest absolute value. So here I can't do anything here. I can't take 8 from 5, so I'm going to borrow, of course. Hopefully you guys know how to do this. Borrowing here, borrowing here, borrowing here, and we've got 4.637. It's literally that easy. So adding and subtracting decimals, do not fret, please. Literally just line up the decimals, add or subtract as normal, and drop down that decimal. Does that make sense, gentlemen? Pretty simple, right, my brothers? Good. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay. How about this guy? We'll move this up a little bit so you can. How about this guy right here? We got 5.6 minus 3.254. A lot of people tend to make the following mistake. They'll go ahead and put their 5.6, then they'll go 3 minus 2. This is 254 thousandths. And then they'll just make this a 4 and a 5. That's wrong, 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 wrong. Do not do that. In this particular case, I have numbers in the bottom portion of this problem, but I have no value above it. So you must put a 0. Because no value means 0. So now I subtract as normal. Borrow from the 0, making that a 9, and this is a 10. That's 6. That's 4. If I borrowed from a 0, I got to borrow again. That's 5. That's 3. And then that's 2. And bada bing, bada boom. 2.346 or 2 and 346 thousandths. And last but not least, we're going to go ahead and line of the decimals. So I got 11 and 23 ten thousandths. I don't like that. It looks sloppy. Let me rewrite it. So I got 151 and 256 thousandths minus 11 and 23 ten thousandths. They're being added. Put my 0 here. It's 3, 8, 5, 2, 2, 6, and 1. Does that make sense, guys? Promise, because we're going to go on to multiplying now in a second. We're good? Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, multiplying and dividing decimals. First one, multiplying decimals. Very simple. When you're multiplying decimals, you're going to go ahead and first multiply as normal. That means multiply as normal. Ignore the decimal. Okay, just ignore the decimal. Multiply as normal. Yes, sir. No, we're not in division yet. Let's walk before we run. Thank you, my brother. God bless you for asking. Multiplying, you multiply as normal first, okay? Second, once you're done, and you've multiplied, move the product's decimal. First of all, what is product, gentlemen? The answer to a multiplication problem. Thank you, gentlemen. So move the product's decimal to the left for as many places as there are numbers to the right of the original decimal value. So basically, you're going to multiply, and you're going to find your decimal. You're going to count how many numbers are to the right of that decimal. That's how many places you're going to move the product's decimal to the left. In other words, multiply, count the numbers behind the decimals or to the right of decimals, and move that many places to the left of your final answer. Okay? So, how does that work? Well, very simply. Let's go ahead and number 1. I got 3.29 times 1.6. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply. 6 times 6 is 54. Carry the 5. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 5 is 17. Carry the 1. 18 and 1, 19. Skip a space. 1 times 9 is 9. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 3 is 3. So I got 4, 16, carry the 1, 10, 12, carry the 1, 3, 4, 5. Now, I've got 1, 2, 3 numbers to the right of my decimals. So that means I got to go 1, 2, 3 decimal values to the left of the product's decimal. So my answer will equal 5 and 264 thousandths. That's messy. Does that make sense? For sure, 100%, right? Okay, thank you, my brothers. Now, next, I've got 12.002 times 4.01. Sometimes people say, Moro, why didn't you line that up? Because you don't have to. I never line them up. You don't line them up. That's not what you do when you're multiplying or dividing. So let's just go ahead and multiply. So I got 2, 0, 0, 2, 1, skip a space, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, skip 2 spaces, 8, 0, 0, 8, and 4. So I got 2, 0, 8, 2, 1, 8, 4, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers to the right of the decimal, so I gotta go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places to the left. Does that make sense, my brother? You promise? That's what I'm here for, man. You ask questions, I answer, my brother. Are you sure, Papa? Thank you, my brother. God bless you. Good job. Does it make sense to everybody? Because my boy just had that best moment in a teacher's life when they go, oh, I get it. That's the best. That's the best. We're all there? All right, my brothers. May I continue? Thank you, gentlemen. All right, let's do another one. So I've got 0.0059, 2.3, and actually, let's take a little gamble here. Let's see what we got. Who wants it? Come on up and do it. Let's go. You're live. Let's go, my brother. You're live right now. Let's do this. I will let everyone watching know if he's right or wrong. So far, looks good, though. You can go ahead and hit the little eraser icon here to your right, my man. Thank you, sir. There you go. Good job, kid. Well done, brother. I don't know where you got that 8 from, though. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Excellent, son. And now, hold on. Let me just clean this up. Remember, we got to wait till we actually get the answer. You're doing great, man. I'm proud of you. No. You got to wait until you get the answer. Thank you. No, there's nothing to apologize about. There you go. So yeah, make sure you always find the product there. Okay, guys? My boy here almost made that crucial mistake. I'm glad he did. That's a learning process. Don't forget that 0, though. That 0 is part of the answer. Okay, 5 numbers to the right of the decimal. There you go. Wait. Show yourself where you were going. You were going this way, and you dropped that decimal there. 0.01357. Correct. It is 0.01357. Or I would have loved it if you said it is 1,357 tenths, hundreds, thousands, 10,000, 100,000s. Thank you, my brother. Great job. Does that make sense, gentlemen? All right, who wants this one? Come on. Who wants it? Oh, let's go, my man. I like it. I like your attitude, and I like all the hands up there. Thank you, guys. Now, remember, this is multiplied by negative 3.5. I'm going to give you a little hint just to think about it. Remember, what's a negative times a positive? I'll be quiet, and I'll let you roll with it. Go. You got this. Doing okay? Good. So far, so good, brother. You're doing great. So we got, that's correct. Boom. Perfect. Great addition. And then I went 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Wow, fantastic. Great job, my man. Awesome. Does that make sense for multiplying, my brothers? Okay, so real quick recap. Adding and subtracting decimals, line up the decimals, add or subtract, drop the decimal. Multiplying decimals. Multiply as normal, ignore the decimals at first. Then, once you have your final answer, your product, the final answer, move the decimals to the left for as many places as there are numbers to the right of the decimals. Does that make sense, my brothers? Thank you, my brothers. Next, dividing decimals. Okay, dividing decimals is pretty cool. First of all, let's go over this again. We got a numerator and a denominator, guys. You may be saying, oh, well, Moro, come on, we already did fractions. Well, fractions is the same thing as division. Fractions and division are the same thing. I'll prove it. 1/2. Okay, that's a fraction. But can't I find this decimal value by going 2 into 1.0, which is 0.5? So fractions are just another way to write a division problem. If I told you this, guys, 10/5, that's a fraction. That's 10/5. But isn't this also 5 into 10, right? 10 divided by 5, which is 2. So I need you guys to understand that whenever you have a fraction, they could be potentially also asking you for a division problem and vice versa. If I had 6 divided by 10, I'll write that as a fraction. 6/10, I'll reduce it to 3/5, then I'll divide. Or if you guys remember the facts that I told you to memorize, 3/5, you should all know that it's 0.6. So we got our numerator and denominator. Guys, I'm not trying to be sarcastic. I want to make sure that you got this. What number goes on the outside, guys? Okay, I had some people not knowing, and thank you. That's why I do this. It's the denominator. The divisor is on the outside. That's the denominator. The dividend or the numerator is on the inside, my brothers. And the answer to a division problem is called the quotient. Okay? You've got to know this, gentlemen. Got to know this. And for those of you who did know it, good job. For those of you who didn't, good job. Now you know you don't know it. That's how you learn. Okay? Big note here. If the divisor is a decimal, so that means if your denominator, the one that's going to go on the outside, the divisor, is a decimal, it must be converted into a whole number by moving the decimal to the right as many places as are needed. But please remember that whatever you do to the denominator must be done to the numerator. Same thing same thing happens here. Remember that whatever is done to the divisor must be done to the dividend. So whatever you do to the outside, you must do to the inside. Just like whatever you do to the denominator, you must do to the numerator. You're keeping an equality here. You're changing the appearance, but not the value. Okay? So that's the most important thing about decimal division. Once you've manipulated that divisor and made sure it's a whole number, now you're just going to divide as normal, guys. Okay? You're going to divide as normal. So, sorry. So number 1, convert the divisor into a whole number if needed. See the note above. Okay? And the note above is this guy, right? If the divisor is a decimal, it must be converted into a whole number. And then number 2, find the location of the dividend's decimal. That means the inside part, the numerator. Find its location and immediately move it up to the top of the division symbol. Immediately. Guys, I work all the time with my students, and that's the number 1 thing they forget to do. They get the right answer, but they forgot the decimal. That's very important. It's very crucial, my brothers. Okay? And then 3, divide as normal, keeping the decimal location you have marked. You have a question, my man? Okay. No worries. Thank you, my man. This makes sense? Okay. So let's do it. Let's divide. I got 16.14 divided by 12. Let me pause. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so 16.14 divided by 12. All right, so what number goes on the outside? 12, yeah, absolutely. And then 16.14 on the inside. Look, guys, I know it seems simplistic and silly, but do it. Bring up the decimal immediately. Immediately. Don't even think about anything else. Bring it up. It's all about neatness with division, especially with decimals. So now, 12 goes into 1 0 times. 12 goes into 16, though, 1 time. It's 4. Drop that down. 12 goes into 41 3 times. It's 36. So that's 5. Bring down that 4. Let's keep going here. 12 goes into 54. How many times? 4 times, that's right. So that's 48. Very good, gentlemen. And then I got a 6. Drop down to 0. And 12 goes into 64 5 times, and there it is, my brothers. It is 1.345. So there's really nothing new to division except bringing up the decimal and the next example that I'm going to show you when you have a decimal in the divisor. Yes, sir, my brother. Okay, no worries. Thank you. Yes, sir. There's no moving of the decimal in division because you've already fixed your decimal's location right here. That's why I always like to say that before anything, bring up your decimal, brother, and that way you know where it is. You locate it. It's like if you're gonna go camping and you put down a stake for your tent. That's where it's gonna be for the rest of your trip. Well, that's where this decimal point is gonna be for the rest of this problem. Thank you so much, sir. So now in this particular case, who's the denominator here? Who goes on the outside? That's right. How can we say that properly instead of 0.032? 32 thousandths, yes. So I've got 0.032 into 0.65152, which is 65,152 tenths, hundreds, thousands, hundred thousands. Okay, so now I've got a decimal here in the divisor. So I got to go 1, 2, 3 to the right. Whatever I do to the divisor, it must be done to the dividend. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 to the right. I am going to immediately bring it up. Immediately. And that's it. I'm done with my decimal. I don't have to worry about the decimal again. That's the beauty here. Once you put it up there, it's done. You're done. That's it. It's over. Now just divide. So 32 can go into 65. Good job, guys. Twice. That's 64. Excellent, my brothers. So you got the 1. That's drop that down. 32 goes into 11. 0 times. And 32 goes into 15. No, wait. Yeah, wait. Hold on. My little snafu. Just pay attention. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Bring that up. Okay, yeah, so it goes into 65 2 times. And you have, this drops down to 11, yeah. So now that's 0. That's what it is, yeah. So now this goes in, not 4, it's going to be 3 times. That's going to be 96. So now I drop down this 2. That's going to be, so that's going to be 9. So that's 192. And that's going to go in 6 times on the money. And there you go. Bada bing, bada boom. Flakata. So it makes sense. Be careful, as you can see, anyone can make a mistake. I've probably done 5,000 of these, and I made a mistake. Got to focus, got to pay attention, got to really just pay attention. No matter who we are. Nobody's infallible. Okay, how about this bad boy? Who goes on the outside here? The 0.4. And we got the 0, so we got 24 thousandths. What do I do with this decimal? How many times? 1 to the right, and then here I go 1 to the right, and I bring it up to not forget, ever. Okay? 4 goes into 0, 0 times. 4 goes into 2, 0 times. 4 goes into 24, 6 times. And bada bing, bada boom, you're done. And then this one's real simple. Here in this case, who goes on? Yes, sir. Thank you. No, 4 goes into 2, 0 times. 2 goes into 4, 2 times. No, thank you, my man.
I was thinking about it the other way. I'm sorry.
No, that's what we're here for. Thank you, my man. Who goes on the outside here? 2, yeah, absolutely. The denominator always goes on the outside. And then this is going to be a 2. Actually, wait. I should have done this a little bit better over here. Let's go down. There we go. Okay, so that's 4. It's going to be 3. Bring up my decimal. I almost forgot. It's going to go 2. And then that's 4 as well. And then that's 4. So 23.24. And that's how you add, subtract, multiply, and divide decimals. Any questions, gentlemen? Thank you very much. Great class. I hope you learned a lot and have a great day.